Hello. Today I'm going to be going through a Java tutorial. This is starting out with Java. Control structures through data structures by Tony Gaddis and Godfrey Mugando. I might have butchered those names, but I'm going to be going chapter through chapter. And it looks like there is, let's see here, 21 chapters. Goes all the way from the basics of Java to binary searches, array implementations, queues, hash maps, and all those nice data structures. Okay, so for our first function here, we are starting off with a public class named payroll and a void uh, function by the name main that takes a string and arguments. And in the void function, we have an integer called hours that holds the value 40, the operator equal sign here. And then we have a double variable that is named gross pay, and also another double variable uh, named that is the value 25 that is also equal to as the operator. So we take that double is equal to our integer times our other double, and then we will use the system out print function to concatenate our string to get your gross pay is plus gross pay outside of the parentheses so that it could take the variable value. And you'll see here that we get your gross pay is 1,000. Heading towards chapter 2 here, we have a little bit more of an explanation on what was going on in the first clip. Right here we have the header, our class header, public class, and simple. Public means that it is open to everyone in the public. And then class is that it indicates the beginning of a class definition. And simple is the class name. In uppercase, as you could see, it was payroll. Right here we have simple, but it can be anything. And then we have another public statement that is a static item. That is the variable or the function void, and the function name is main. That takes string of arguments, and it will print programming is great fun, as you can see here. Here we have escape sequences that can be used inside of strings. So we have a few different types here. We have \n, which creates a new line, as in most languages. Same with \t, tab. \b is backspace. \r is return. \\/ gives you a backslash in the string. \single quote will give you a single quote, and \double quote will in return give you a double quote. All right, so here is just another example of the system out statements. Right here we have a header named toLines and a method named main. And we have system.out.print without the ln. That makes it so this will go wherever it is. And the ln means that it will go on that line. And it will terminate the next line. So as we could see, we have a concatenated string with using two system out statements. All right, here is another example. So for instance here, we have a public class called char statements and the method main. We initialize a string named input and a character variable named answer. We will initialize our scanner to take new inputs from the system. We will then ask the question, are you having fun? Y equals yes, or N equals no. We'll get the input, and that is through the keyboard scanner function, next line. And then from that, we will get answer equals input dot char at, and this is basically finding characters at the index, and our index is 0 because y, the start of yes is y, and the start of no is n. So if someone were to run this, and they were to say, are you having fun? And they typed yes, your answer would be y. All right, here's a little more advanced example of something in Java that we're working on. So we have a public class named payroll and our method main. We initialize a string with the value name. We initialize an int with the name hours, and we initialize two doubles with pay rate and gross pay. And then we set up a new scanner for our system input, and then we will print what is your name, and then name is equal to the next keyboard input that is on the next line. And then after we get a value for name, we will move on to the next thing, which is hours, and we will print how many hours did you work this week. Hours will pick up the next integer that is put on the input, and then we will move on to the next, and then is what is your hourly pay rate? Pay rate will get the next double that is there. And then from there, we will calculate gross pay with our operators. Gross pay equals pay rate times hours. And then from there, we can print out hello plus name that we found with the keyboard.next line. And then we will print system.out.println. Your gross pay is $, and then concatenate it with gross pay that we get from this calculation that are from these inputs here. As you can see, when we put something in, we could put my name is Trey. I worked 2 hours at $14 an hour, and that should give me 28. All right, here's something a little bit different. We're looking at a import from Java that is called Java Option Pane or JOptionPane. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to set up a class. We're going to name this one window pane, and we're going to set up the method main. We're going to initialize 2 strings here, first name and last name, and then we're going to set first name equal to the Java Option Pane show input dialog, and our message is going to be what is your first name. Same with last name. We're going to do the exact same thing except set it up for last name. And something different here is we're going to actually display a new pane with the parent component null, and it's going to say hello plus first name plus space plus last name. This is concatenating the string hello input input. And then once we click the X, that will system exit. So right here, I'm going to pull it into the screen, but right here, let's see, we've got our first name, Dev, and then we're going to pull this back into the stream for you guys, Trey, and then we are going to see our final message is hello, Dev Trey. We click OK, and it gets rid of the thing. All right, so here we're looking at parsing. Parsing is essentially turning one thing into another thing. So right here we have our 2 strings set up. We have first name and input string. We have our integer hours as usual, and our double pay rate and gross pay as usual. We're doing this in the Java option pane again. So we're asking for their first name, and then we're going to set input string. This is very important right here, to how many hours they've worked this week. And once we have that in the string value, what we're going to do is set hours equal to integer.parseInt input string. So what this is this is a built-in function in Java that is going to take a integer that we have and parse it as an integer from the string that we are given. We're going to do the same thing here. Notice how we can use the input string variable here again because hours already has that value stored, so we are able to change the data that this variable is holding. So we have pay rate here. We're going to choose pay rate is equal to double.parse double, and then the string that we're parsing. This is going to give us hours as an integer and pay rate as a double. Once we're here, we're going to do everything like always. Gross pay is equal to hours times pay rate. And then from there, we're able to show a option pane. Hello, first name, concatenating first name here. Your total wages for this week are, and then concatenate gross pay. And then once we click out of the box, the status of the system will be 0 and the program will no longer be running. So let's run this. Let's see here. What's your first name? Let's type Trey here. How many hours have you worked this week? Let's do 2 again. And what is your pay rate? We're going to do 14, and it's going to give us 28. Hello, Trey. Your total wages for this week are 28. All right, so this is going to be the end of chapter 1 and 2. This was a pretty basic chapter, just going on syntax, how to set up variables, how to set up functions, how to set up classes, and parsing things into what they weren't. And next will be chapter 3, and that is decision structures. So that's like if else, nested if statements, logical operators, comparing string objects, variable declaration, conditional operators, switch statements, and that's it. See you in the next one.